It being time here. All right, well, I'll call our meeting to order. This is the Union District Number 3 School Board meeting on December 5th, 2016. And we are at the Cornwall Elementary School, and I think we should probably begin with no name tags here with a round of introductions, since we don't see each other all that frequently anymore. Beginning with Allison, if you wouldn't mind.
Allison Stanger, Middlebury.
Laura Lass, Salisbury.
Devin McLaughlin, Middlebury.
Lorraine Morse, Middlebury.
Peter Conlon from Cornwall.
Mark Perrin from Middlebury.
JP Reese, Middlebury.
Sherry Shedd, Ripton.
Nick Colston, Storm.
Sally Hascock, student representative from Middlebury.
Kristen Holtzman Frankfurt, Principal of Homes.
Kathy Beeman, high school assistant principal.
Scott Siegel, middle school assistant principal.
Sean Farrell, activities director, Middlebury High School.
Bill Lawson, high school principal.
Caitlin Steele, director of teaching and learning.
Ben Slater, science teacher, Moms.
Great, thank you. Is anybody here to talk about anything that isn't on the agenda? All right. Okay, let's approve our minutes from October 3rd. How about a motion we do that? All right. We have minutes are moved and seconded. Anybody want to comment on them, change anything? If not, all those in favor of approving the minutes from October 3rd, 2016, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody want to be listed as abstaining?
Not present.
Nick, Allison, and Jerry? Okay.
Come enough for a quorum. On that vote.
That was a rough one to get a quorum for, actually.
We made it.
Somebody came in at the last minute. Lorraine, when you are caught up, you can then catch us up on the bills.
Okay, I'm set. Yes, we have a few bills. Those of you who were here at the last meeting might remember that I did not have two of the bill amounts to give. June 21st, which was done by Steve and I, and that was general fund in the amount of $1,635,036.54. And on July 5th, JP and I read bills, and from the general fund for 2015-16, the amount was $427,490.87. And now we will flash forward from the last meeting. And the October 4th bills, which were read on the 5th by JP and I. Food service, $3,639.77. And general fund, $1,144,278.37. On October 18th, Steve and I read, and general fund amount of $587,450.53. The November 8th bills were read on the 9th by JP and I, and food service, $35,743.09. And from the general fund, $1,131,742.60. And the last set were read by Steve and I on the 21st of November. Food service, $31,730.22. And from the general fund, $1,072,584.92. And I would move that we approve those numbers.
Second.
All right. So I got a question. Let's say we don't approve the July bills.
Too late. Actually, all these numbers, I mean, they're pretty
Right.
much already.
They're already paid anyway.
But
All right. All those in favor of paying the director's orders as reported out by Lorraine, please say aye.
Aye.
And I assume nobody opposed. And any abstentions? There you have it. All right. So we got some very comprehensive reports from the principals written. However, we would welcome anything further that you folks might want to add, followed by questions or comments from the board.
I would say from the middle school, the big excitement at the middle school was the food drive. The middle school students were exceedingly proud of their almost 5,100 pounds of food that were brought to the food shelf, including 99 pounds of ham, somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 pounds of turkeys, and the kids were just so excited to give back to the local community. and it became quite a competition. And
So when you say 500 pounds of turkeys, are people bringing in turkeys? Or was that an arrangement through somebody else?
Teams chose to use some of their team-generated or team-earned funds to buy some, and then we had a dance in that time period, but some of the money went for that as well. And so students brought in money, they didn't actually bring the turkeys. We went and bought the turkeys.
All right.
So were those the photos in the Addy Indy?
Yes.
Yeah, those are great.
Thank you.
Following that theme at the high school is currently engaged in a food drive, and I think this year we're sort of collaborating with Virgins and having a friendly competition with Virgins in terms of who can raise the, come up with the most food, so.
How's it going?
We'll have to give you a report later.
All
It
right.
just started, so they had the first count on Friday, but we don't know how Virginia's is doing.
Give you reason to read the next principal's report.
Any further questions, comments, anything else you guys want to add?
I just have a quick thing, and it comes partly from a conversation that we had in ACSD about sort of school climate stuff and sort of, you know, incidents that may or may not have sort of arisen from the election, and ACSD sort of issued a statement. And I just wanted to know, you know, sort of what kind of the principal's feeling was about sort of school climate. Were there in fact a sort of raising of more sort of incidents, and sort of what's happening now? What kind of the feeling is about that?
At the middle school, we have not seen
Okay.
any incidents. I think possibly because it's also hunting season, and many of our students have been focused in that mind. We have not had a single incident that has been reported to us either by parents or by students of anything that we were concerned we might see
Great.
in that time period.
That's good.
I think at the high school, we have sort of the usual types of things that go on, but I don't think there's anything there that I would attribute to the election.
Okay.
Tully, any comment from your end of the table?
I think there's like a rise in the way teachers kind of wanted to like talk versus not talk about it, but no like incidents or anything.
Any other questions? All right, I'm just going to tell you that on Thursday, Tully and I and Peter Burrows and Vicki Wells are going over to Norwich University to attend. It's an event put on by the Nellie Mae Education Foundation and the District Management Council. And the District Management Council is you hear this term a lot. It's basically, it's a private consulting company that does a lot of consulting for public school systems. They're really great. Anyway, they're putting on an event called Transformative Education Governance in Vermont. And so we will be mostly talking about, it's mostly focused on student-centered learning, with a panel discussion on how can school governance promote student-centered learning and other systemic changes. Let's see here. Success of school governance and changes of school governance. And I think that couple of thoughts on this that I have. I think we'll probably be talking a lot about how our sort of change in governance allowed us to move pretty rapidly on adopting IB and where we're going with IB. We'll probably be hearing from other school systems and what they're up to, and it is going to be a mix of board members, students, and administrators from a lot of other districts. And this, one of the sponsors, the Nellie Mae Education Foundation, is also, they fund efforts to promote student-centered learning and other systemic changes in Vermont school systems. So it's a good time for us to show what we got and learn more about them in case there's any opportunities for funding in the future. So anyway, that's what we're doing on Thursday.
Peter, did you say that was you, Tully, Vicki, Peter?
Yes. Yep, the four of us. All right. So now I need to go back to my agenda. Excuse me, all. Getting used to this here. What's next on the agenda? Anybody?
Update on
Too silly.
facilities.
Oh, okay. So yeah, these updates are short and sweet because they're not very. Peter put in Fusilli Field. I think he meant the Creek Road fields in general, but we'll talk about both the Creek Road fields and the riverbank. Just to say, as we talked, I think we brought this up last time, the college sort of makes noises about not wanting to own the Creek Road fields, and then it seems to get put down to the bottom of the priority list. And I didn't know, Bill, is there anything new to report on that? Is it come up again? Have they approached?
I don't think so.
Okay, it was a topic that came up at the town school committee that is the chair and vice chair of the Middlebury boards, and then some folks from the select board. And I think everybody's on the same page as to what the future should hold, should the college ever get around to dealing with this issue.
I
But
think Peter Burrows wanted to try and get somebody from the college and together with somebody from the town and sort of talk it over in some manner, put the issue to rest so that it doesn't keep coming up over and over again over the years. Clearly, the fields are very important to the school and to the high school specifically. Most of we have a lot of events that go on there, so if those all of a sudden became mitigated in some way, that would severely restrict some of our programming. So I think he'd like to somehow sort of just talk to everyone and convince them of how important it is to the school and see what they want to do as a result of that.
and probably confirm that everybody is in fact on the same page as to who would control it and who could have access to it. And the only update that I got from Peter on the Fusilli Field riverbank issue is that it's still sort of being talked about among lawyers. Is there?
Well, there's been no change in the status. It was a relatively mild past 6 or 8 months, and so there's been no change in the riverbank itself.
Has there been any communication with the, I think it was the Army Corps of Engineers who kind of is in charge of riverways? Have they taken any interest in this at all?
They looked at it and said that it was static, and they were happy with that, and said they're fine just leaving it the way it is at the moment.
Okay. All right, well, moving right along here, Sean, you have a new member-to-member request for us?
Yes. Did change seats with you? No, that's okay. The request is for our student to participate at Virgins in a cheer member-to-member. We have one student who's been identified. The policy would require us to post it, advertise it in our school if there's more than the one that wishes to go to do cheer at Virgins. They can take up to 5, and if it was above 5, we'd have to do a lottery to see which 5 do go. Virgins is extended as an agreement, which I sent to you, and I have copies here. Do people want to see the agreement, or are you good with?
If you got a couple of copies just to pass around, it'd be great.
Yeah, I have copies. With this being Virginia's first time doing a member-to-member agreement, they basically just copied our agreement that we have with them with ice hockey. They took out the component of compensation. They're not looking for compensation from MUH 3. But everything else in this document is basic information that has to be in there to satisfy the VPA as far as a member-to-member agreement. Bill had expressed a concern about item number 5, which talks about expense. And what that refers to, and it's very much because of the hockey, any equipment and things like that, one would need to participate. It is the individual's expense, not the school district's. It's not a way to levy a fee against the school or the individual.
And nothing about, there's no obligation for transportation.
No, that's written in there as well,
Okay.
that they're required to get themselves there as far as transportation goes.
And as far as you know, it's only one student that's...
Correct. Only one student has expressed an interest. And I've known about this for quite a while. I was waiting for Virgins because the process actually has to develop there, didn't come to us. This student has actually been at Virgins as a middle schooler participating in their program. So this wasn't something new, it just took a while for them to process it.
All right, so this was generated by this student, not for Jen's looking for more students to add to it.
Correct. Her parents spoke to me back in 7th and 8th grade, so
Yep.
that, again, we're not surprised.
All right.
I just feel bad the paperwork was delayed because Virgins needed to generate it.
All right.
Sean, you said that no other students are interested, but would other students know that this was available?
Well, that's why I said part of the policy is I have to advertise it as,
Oh, I'm sorry,
as an
I missed
option.
that. Okay, so that was
And
announced.
we'll advertise for a week, which
Okay.
is the
I'm
basis.
sorry.
But as far as we know at this time,
Okay,
Only
we're
one
only
student is
aware of
expressed.
one student.
all right, I'm sorry.
Virgin's program is small enough that they would certainly be willing to accept 5, if we had 5 that wanted to participate.
Doesn't this one say 4?
Yeah, I was gonna say this one does say
Well,
4.
okay, no, 4, I'm sorry, I'm thinking hockey, it's 4, sorry. Thank you, Rich.
Wanted to know.
Anybody else? And no prohibition on cheering at Middlebury Union High School basketball games written into the contract?
No, they actually don't, it'd be at their home game, so.
Oh, okay.
it won't
They don't
affect
travel.
us. We won't see it.
Okay, could somebody move that we approve the member-to-member agreement for cheerleading with Virginia Union High School?
So moved.
Second.
I'll let you sort that one out.
Yeah.
Lorraine?
Okay, yeah, yeah, I was gonna give JP and Laura a little at the same time. I wasn't really-
Okay, all those in favor of approving the member-to-member agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody want to abstain? And we have approved that. Thank you, everybody.
Peter, do you mind signing that?
Oh, I'd be happy to. All right. Thank you. I had one in my pocket.
Oh,
No,
it's
it's
underneath
right
your pad. What about the music?
There you go. We are at other business as we rapidly go through our agenda here. Does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about? Were you here for anything for us? All right. Our next meeting date, well, let's call that to be determined, but probably in February. Well, we'll have to have a UD3 annual meeting, and we'll have to plan for that.
Yeah,
I think we have to have a UD3 annual meeting,
I think so.
just to get us limping through the end of June. That sound right to you, Dick?
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I think we'll have a fund balance to take care of, to figure out what to do with, or to do what we need to do with it. But, yeah, so we will meet in January or February, but then certainly the night of our usual annual meeting, I think,
which is in February.
which is in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, later in February. Meanwhile, thank you all for coming for these brief meetings, and especially to our finance committee for keeping that going along. Appreciate it. I would ask, since we are still the landlords and keepers of the house and whatnot, is there any sort of facilities report update we could have?
Bruce put in my report, he talked about what's been happening from a facilities point of view, so that's.
Okay.
that's the-
Anything upcoming?
And he's been working very closely with the new business manager in terms of developing plans for the future and developing potential capital improvements, should there be funds available to address those issues.
And how has the budgeting process gone for both schools?
Well, it's
It's very different.
It's very different, yeah, so it's sort of, I looked at, Josh sent out a copy of the budget Friday night, and so I was looking at it this morning and going, oh, great, piece of cake, my $10 or $11 million budget's gone down to $7 or $8 million. Perfect, what more could they ask for? It's just been such a different beast,
Yeah.
because it's not comparing things the way we used to compare things or look at things, but they've been, I see the business manager's truck there at 7 o'clock in the morning when I roll in, so he's been there for a while, and he's usually there, late, got that email Friday night at 8:15 or something like that, so he was there doing stuff, so he's put in a lot of work to try and bring it all together, and I think they have a plan in terms of over the next year or so, how it's going along, so we just have to see how it is. Unfortunately, I don't think they have all the numbers yet to really do a meaningful comparison.
Yeah.
To know where we are in terms of tax rates and things like that.
Does the budget propose anything significant changes, dropped programs, added programs at the high school?
No.
Nothing, pretty much moved.
Status quo for
Yeah.
right now. I think, you know, as they develop the budget, they're gonna be moving things around and reorganizing, some things which will be different and have impacts here and there, but I think it's also new that they just need to get through this initial budget. I think next year we'll see.
Right. Yeah. And probably the effects of IB as that comes in will start
Right, and
playing a
the
role.
budget that we develop next fall will be a budget for at the high school. The impact will be when we lose the senior class, there'll be a significant impact in terms of reduction
Mhm.
of students.
Mm.
That'll have an impact.
Yeah. How big is the senior class?
It's the
It's the junior class,
The
okay.
current junior class is around 180.
It is, okay, that is a
So
bubble.
when we lose that class, the other classes are around 150 or so.
Yeah.
And are the middle school numbers gonna stay steady, or are they dropping?
They're very steady. There
Okay.
are slight differences, but nothing major.
In terms of budgeting and sharp pools and percentage increases allowed and all that stuff, and I thankfully haven't been following any of that anymore, but because you're transitioning from single school budgets to the brave new world that you are you subject to no restrictions now because they don't have anything to compare it to? How does that work?
There are restrictions, but it's different, and we, basically, the central office hasn't received the final numbers yet to be able to sort of know what the impact is going to be.
Mhm.
I mean, it looks reasonable right now, but it's based on assumptions that may not.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a whole new world.
Good luck.
And Mark or Laura, would you give us an update as to where things are at the search for a new director for the
Not
Career
much
Center?
not much has changed. Our meeting is this coming Wednesday, or next Wednesday, and that's when we'll meet with Bob Stevens. I believe he's coming to the meeting from the VSBA, and talk about the process and see if we want to actually enter a contract with him.
Mhm. If nothing else, we can have a motion to adjourn, which Devin just provided. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Thank you again.
Did we start?
Oh, and I would invite all of you, again,
Head to the next one.
to the next meeting at 7. You know, it'll be all about the budget. It'll be a good time to check in. What's that?
Did we start?